Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. It's the 27th of June, 2025.
It's Friday!
It's Friday! Yay! It's my Friday. Welcome to our channel. Jane wanted a positive story. So, Trump wins big twice with the Supreme Court, and the IRS lays off 26,000 people.
That's positive.
We'll start out with the M57 blaster. Boom. Always on the third blast. You hook up the
Hold
little...
it up so people can see what it looks like.
You hold up two electrical things. You plug in your electrical, you put the detonating cap in, you set a fuse that's a pull fuse. You light that with a cigarette lighter. But then the real detonation, you give it like a 5-minute time. But the real detonation is 1, 2, 3. My M57 detonator. Maybe Giant Mining Company will come up and grab this from me so they can start blasting on their mine. They're still a year or two away, they said on their website. Due diligence.
Due
diligence. I did.
Friday.
I had a lot of fun looking at Giant Mining Company. I'll tell you what, that's pretty exciting because everything they say in here is true. I've verified everything they say. With President Trump's Made in America agenda eyeing import tariffs, the race for a source of domestic supply just hit overdrive. Copper is charging back towards last year's record, hovering around $45 a pound as global stockpiles scrape 15-year lows. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when they stop manipulating metal prices, they're going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
Enter Giant Mining Corporation, ticker BFGFF. BFGF. Anyway, in the U.S. and BFGA in Canada, their 9,800-acre Mahuba Hill sits in mining-friendly Nevada, right beside the highway. Yeah, it is right next to the highway. Rail, power, and gas. I mean, it's just right near Winnemucca. It's just, the access is incredible. The recent drilling delivered 140-foot copper zone averaging 0.4% to 4.4% copper, which is unheard of. And there's gold and silver in there that is now profitable to take out. You know, a lot of mines take 5-10 years to redo because you got to redo the timber, you got to go down there, you got to inspect it, yada, yada, yada. Find all the air holes, open the air holes, put walls around the air holes, get new air pumps, get new water pumps. This is a dry area and they're ready to start drilling, but they've got to get the investment money. Engineering with Respect is already fast-tracking the first NI 43-101 resource, so Mahuba could leap to a drill rig to develop while rivals get tangled in new red tape. That's right, there is no red tape anymore. Trump took it away. That's why we've got 3 rare earth metal mines now sprouting up in Wyoming. In a super cycle where projects that move fast win, Giant Mining checks every box. Discover more Giant Mining Corp on the OTC at BFGFF in the U.S. and BFG in Canada. You know, they have those core samples. You can't fake them. And they're available on the net. You can confirm with the USGS. You can confirm with anybody. But anyway, on to the news. Tik Tok.
Link will be below.
Oh, yeah. The link for globalminingcorp.com will be below. It's Giant Mining Corp. Sorry. Anyway, in the news, a TikTok broadcaster looked in the camera. And I don't know if it was an actor by the FBI or if this person was real, but they said, get a gun and shoot the ICE agents.
What?
Yeah, face in the camera, get a gun, shoot ICE agents. And she, whatever it is, wasn't arrested.
Oh, man.
Which tells me it's an FBI job. They were not arrested. This TikTok user was not arrested for telling people to get a gun and shoot federal agents. There was no arrest in that. And that goes along with Pam Bondi saying, we can't arrest those violating United States Code 18.
Which is the election thing.
Which has to do with impersonating people. They cannot enforce United States Code 18. Nobody in the Department of Justice was arrested for not being able to enforce the Department of Justice regulations. So that's led Kathy Hobbs, you know, she wears glasses that aren't prescription.
Katie Hobbs.
Katie Hobbs, it makes her look better. She's the Arizona governor who was appointed, not elected. She got about 25% of the vote, and she was appointed as governor. Well, she's blocking 2 Republican spending bills that cut out the welfare. So she might shut down Arizona. Why not? She wears glasses that are non-prescription. She's a total fake, and the old Katie Hobbs does not look like the new Katie Hobbs. She suddenly walked in as governor 40 pounds heavier. Excuse me? How do you gain 40 pounds in one day? She's a double or a clone, just like Gavin Newsom said. I'm a clone. I answered to an AI. I answered. I mean, we watched two Bidens die of a heart attack. We showed it on videos. But we can't show it on YouTube because obviously the FBI censors us.
Tell us about the Supreme Court rulings.
Well, we'll do that in about 1 minute.
Okie doke.
Home sales have plummeted to the lowest since 2009. The only thing keeping the price up is the CIA and China buying homes in America. And as soon as we can get the Jew guy from BlackRock, he's Jewish, but he's not Jewish. He's a Satanist. He just has Jewish roots, just like half of America. He's a Satanist. He's buying homes in America. You know, that's why you get a letter. Oh, I'm looking at your home. I'm in your neighborhood. I want to buy your home. I'll make you an offer, blah, blah, blah. It's either the CIA or you just have somebody come out like they did to a home nearby from China and buy the home. They just buy the home. It's illegal, but nobody's been arrested. The Department of Justice will not arrest anybody. Why? Because the FBI director, James Comey's daddy, ran the SS, and they hate America and they want America destroyed because America beat Hitler. It's that simple. And James Comey's daughter is running the P. Diddy case, and he'll probably get off with probation.
Well, he better not.
After all those bodies under his home.
Oh, well, yeah.
Hundreds of them. But he had no knowledge of it, right? The SS wants America destroyed. The Gestapo, the Department of Justice, wants America destroyed. Rosenstein's daddy ran the Gestapo. The SS designed the FBI, and the Gestapo redesigned the Department of Justice. That's why Dun & Bradstreet says that the Department of Justice is in competition with the United States Corporation. And for $139, you can order the financials on the Department of Justice. And for $139, you can order the financials in your own state. What's the true financials? For $139, I could order the true financials of Tacoma, and I found out that $2 billion of it goes to the owners of Tacoma. So our streets are in disrepair. It's happening all over the country. And the U.S. Supreme Court has two major wins for President Trump. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, now the Supreme Court and Congress were dissolved half a decade ago. So this is a CIA ruling. The the Supreme Court has ruled. First of all, that he can send illegals home to any country he wishes. So he's sending these illegals to Somalia. That's fine. I think you ought to give him $10,000 and send them to the center of the Congo. It'll boost the Congo economy, and because the Congo is just trying to struggle and hang on, and Lockheed Martin creates a little conflict up in one of their corners so they can steal the coltan. But generally, the Congo is doing great. So he can not only can he export any illegal out of the country, he can also, are you ready for this? He can deport asylums, people who applied for asylum, because political asylum is only going from one country to another. So if you're from Honduras, you can't even go to Mexico. You have to declare political asylum in the next country. And anchor babies, like the guy running for mayor of New York, who's a devout National Socialist, can be deported because he's an anchor baby. Anchor babies are now illegal. Go ahead, Jane.
Well, and also, more importantly, the decision, this is called the Trump versus CASA Inc. It reaffirms the rightful balance of power between judicial and executive, curbing the ability of unelected district court judges to paralyze the will of the duly elected president. So this is putting those wild judges, radical judges, putting them in their place.
Yeah, he's suing Maryland, and he's paralyzed 129 judges. They can't hear cases. These federal judges can't do anything in Maryland. And it's not Maryland, it's Massachusetts, I believe. I forget. But anyway, he's suing them, so they're completely paralyzed. They're not allowed to hear cases. They're not allowed to keep illegal aliens in the country. They're not allowed to release murderers.
Yep, this was a 6-3 decision. Court decided with the Trump administration, ruling that federal court, district court judges lack the constitutional or statutory authority to issue so-called universal injunctions, is how they're wording it.
Duh, it's in the Organic Constitution of
Universal
1871.
injunctions, yeah.
How long did it take you to figure that out, CIA, you morons? Go ahead.
Well, you know it. This is good.
This is very good. They ruled in favor of the 1871 Organic Constitution, which controls the United States corporation.
Well, it puts it back into perspective what it means, the meaning and protections of the value of being an American citizen and the rights of an actual American citizen. It puts it back into perspective instead of a free-for-all.
The Organic Constitution is the incorporation of the United States Code 2, the incorporation of the United States, which is supposed to obey the original Constitution of 1789. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Liberty means freedom. Freedom means you pay no property taxes. But the United States Corporation since 1871 has been violating their Organic Constitution. They have been in violation thereof ever since they were formed, allowing property taxes and a lot of other taxes. We pay enormous amounts of property taxes here in this city because we have blue-tards who want more money, more money, more money. Katie Hobbs went from a net value of $1.5 million to $5 million in 2 years as governor of Arizona. Where did she get $3.5 million? Duh!
Well,
she stole it.
This is going to send a strong message to future people trying to come across the border illegally. You know, I mean, this is putting the nail in the coffin.
Well, anchor babies are illegal, which means, like I said, that Nazi running for office in New York has to be sent home. But the Department of Justice won't do it.
Well, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, she was writing for the majority, which was a 6-3. She did this was a shock for her because she's kind of been tending towards the liberals, you know.
Yeah, she's been a left-wing turd.
Yeah, I mean, which was very surprising. So she did a turnaround on this one and did what she was supposed to do. But anyway, she was the head on doing the writing for the majority, so she was the head of that one. So anyway, she really gave it to Sotomayor and Kanja and Jackson. She nailed them to the wall. I mean, and it was brutal. So the justices that voted for this was Thomas, obviously, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Barrett, and Chief Justice Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. That were the 6. So anyway, this is good. This is a nice Friday, make you feel better.
This is yeah. And under the Organic Constitution and under United States Code 5, it's not United States Code 562, United States Code 5, the only department or agency that the President controls is the Department of Homeland Security. He does not control the Department of Justice. He does not control the FBI. He controls the funding of the FBI Nazis, pigs, but he doesn't, sorry, I can't say FBI without saying Nazi pig, because they censor everything. So he controls the Department of Homeland Security, and it's the Department of Homeland Security that has ICE in it. So when that Tik Tok looked in the camera and said, get a gun and shoot ICE agents, why did the Department of Homeland Security not arrest that person?
Well, that's exactly it.
There shouldn't have been an immediate arrest. They were an American. And they dressed funny, and they talked funny, and they acted weird, so probably an FBI agent. That's why they're not arrested. And finally, we have a special, Jane.
We do.
Miss Jones, Miss Smith, whatever you want to call her, Ms. Smith from the IRS has come in for an employment interview from the IRS.
Oh, this is your Friday Funny.
My Friday Funny. I had an acquaintance. We went to a Department of Ecology. They were going to have a decision on something, and so they had public input. And they'd already made the decision, but they asked for public input, so it was a total lie. But I met the port commander, the guy who runs the Port of Shelton. And he said he had 50 applicants for one job opening. And he said 49 were from the Department of Ecology. And he said one was from McDonald's. So he interviewed all 50 people. I said, let me guess which one you hired. He says, yep. The guy was flipping burgers in the back room, and he was working 8 hours a day, and I hired him, and he's been the best worker I've ever had. So, that being said, Miss Smith, because Smith is kind of an innocuous name, right? Jones, Brown, Miss White, whatever. Miss Smith. Yeah, Jane, could you come in here and we could interview Miss Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Smith, I'm looking at your record. Very, very good record. You've been with the IRS, and I'm sorry that they had to lay so many people off from the IRS. And I hope they all get jobs. I really do. Because we've had a great relationship with the IRS, and whoever does our taxes and looks them over, we've had a fabulous relationship. So this is nothing against the IRS. But this is a warning to IRS agents how you need to change to get jobs when you get laid off. 26,000 got laid off. So, yes, Miss Smith. Ms. Smith.
Yes.
I apologize, Miss Smith. Jane, do you have any questions for her?
No.
She's got an impeccable record. You know, she's got 4 weeks of sick, which she uses, I understand. And she's got 4 weeks of vacation, I understand. She uses them. She's not stupid. This is a very smart gal, Miss Smith.
How much am I going to get paid?
So you want to know how, you don't even want to know what the job is.
Oh, I don't care. How much am I going to get paid, and what are my benefits?
Well, according to this, you were getting $137,000 a year, plus you were getting about $50,000 in benefits, roughly around $200,000. Is that about right? You know, I added up the freed metal.
Yes, but they owe me that.
Yes, they owe you that because obviously you're not a white male, so they owe you that. I understand. The government owes you, and to a certain extent, I sort of agree to that. So, what did you do? What did you do at the IRS? Tell me a little bit about your job.
Well, I had to do filing.
Okay, so you did filing. You looked at taxes. You did filing. How many hours a day did you know, because there's a lot of seminars and there's a lot of diversity inclusion training. Even though Trump banned it, it's still going on at the IRS, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Not my friends.
So, and I understand, I appreciate you showing up to work every day, every single day. How many hours a week did you spend in seminars?
Oh, probably 2.5 to 3 days a week.
So you go to the seminar, you come back, so you were actually able to file for you're actually able to do your job maybe 10 hours a week. Is that about right?
Well, I guess.
So you were paid for 40 hours.
But everybody likes me.
You're very likable. In fact, all of your employment reviews, you know, you voluntarily gave them to me. And I appreciate it. You're one of the most likable people in the IRS, and you've treated our company very, very well. Of course, we have accountants do our stuff, and by God, we never lie to the IRS because it always comes back on us. Never, ever lie to the IRS. That's a code.
That's a hard no.
That's a hard no. You find $20, you put it in the company coffer, you report it. I don't deal with lying. Even in my own personal company, I will not deal with lying. So, what can you do for our company?
Oh, I'll make your environment really friendly and happy, and I'll organize parties, and I'll make everybody happy.
Well, so out of a 40-hour week, you did about 10 hours of work a day. Oh, a week, because you were at seminars the rest of the time, right?
Well, yeah, you got lunch, and then and then I had to go pick up the kids early, and I had to stop at the dry cleaner and go to the grocery store because it was, Happy Friday or Wednesday where I got all the good deals.
Yeah, and you have to go there before 5 o'clock because that's when everybody gets off. Okay.
So, when can I start? And can I have a raise?
Oh, so you want to go from 190,000
Oh, I'm worth it.
Well, obviously, your evaluation says you're worth...
I'm worth it.
At least $250,000, maybe $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I agree, you are worth it.
And I need a cola every year, too.
Okay. Hey, Jane, next! Okay, we'll see you on Monday, we hope.